have been talking a lot about the total solar eclipse that's happening. It's just a few weeks now. It's less than a month. It's almost here. It's on April 8th, and this is going to be a solar eclipse, a total solar eclipse that will pass through North America or cross through North America, U.S., Canada, Mexico. There's not going to be another one for 20 years until 2044. And right up the road in Jonesboro, Arkansas, you're going to be able to see a total eclipse, which is quite a spectacle. I'm joined now on the Action News 5 digital desk by David Barron. He is someone who is considered an eclipse expert. He's a writer. He also wrote a book about eclipses. He's an eclipse chaser, and he's seen a total of 8 total solar eclipses across the world. David, I appreciate you joining us on the digital desk. Tell me about this eclipse next week or next month, and why is it so unique from other eclipses out there? Good morning.
Good morning. Well, first I need to emphasize a total solar eclipse is fundamentally different from other types of eclipses. You may have seen a lunar eclipse, which occurs at night when the full moon turns into a dark red ball in the sky. Very interesting. A partial solar eclipse, which happens every few years, is interesting. You need to look at it with special eclipse glasses like these, which you also should have for April 8th. And the sun turns into a crescent when the moon moves in front of it. That's very interesting. A total solar eclipse is fundamentally different. If you're in the path where it's total on April 8th, as soon as the moon completely covers the sun, it's like you're transported to another planet, because suddenly daylight plunges into twilight. And during the total eclipse, only during the total eclipse, you can take off the eclipse glasses and look in the sky at the sun with the naked eye. You'll see a sun you've never seen before. It's the most glorious thing in the heavens. It looks sort of like a crown or a wreath woven out of silvery thread. And you'll see the sun and the planets together. You are literally looking at the center of the solar system. And it's otherworldly and addictive, which is why I now travel the world to see them whenever I can.
I was going to ask, David, I mean, you've been to several different countries. Let's see, South America, Europe, Australia, Indonesia, all these different areas across the globe to chase, if you will, 8 total solar eclipses. Is it because of this phenomenon? I mean, you sell it well. Is there anything else that gives you this rush? I hear animals act very different.
Some animals do. Birds definitely do. So I would say now Memphis is not in the path of the total eclipse. You will see a 98% partial eclipse, which is quite interesting, but it's very different from the total eclipse. But even in the partial eclipse in Memphis, you'll see birds flying around confused, like it's suddenly dusk. You may see, particularly if you're in the path of the total eclipse in Arkansas or southeast Missouri, you may see bats come out in the middle of the day. During the summer, if it's a time when lightning bugs, when fireflies are seen, they may come out. So some animals definitely do act that way. But in terms of the human response, it's just completely surreal. It's like being in a sci-fi film. Probably, I would say, most of your viewers, when they step outside, they know what the sky is going to look like, right? We've all seen blue skies, and we've seen cloudy skies, and we've seen starry skies. This is a sky like no other sky. It really is like you're on another planet. So during the total eclipse, it will be a dark purple gray overhead as if it's twilight, while on the horizon, it'll be orange like sunset all around you, a 360-degree sunset. And again, you're looking at the sun's outer atmosphere, the solar corona. Beautiful, beautiful thing to see. You can see the planets. You'll see some bright stars come out. It's just breathtakingly beautiful and completely surreal.
That sounds fantastic. Again, you sell it really well, David. I know that there are certain things we should do to prepare for the solar eclipse, one of which getting those glasses that you showed a moment ago. Anything else we should do? My understanding is Jonesboro, Arkansas, which is about an hour away drive time from Memphis, is in that totality path. How should we prepare for this?
Well, first of all, prepare for terrible traffic. Back in 2017, there was a total solar eclipse that crossed the country. You may recall, in fact, it went over Nashville. And that total eclipse, I live in Colorado. It went over Wyoming. So a lot of people from Denver went up to Wyoming. Wyoming had the worst traffic it has ever seen right after the eclipse in 2017, because like this year, the total eclipse that year was on a Monday. So a lot of people kind of trickled up to Wyoming over the long weekend. And then as soon as the total eclipse was over, they all got in their vehicles to come back. And what would normally be a 2 or 3 hour drive took 10 to 12 hours. So first of all, be prepared, particularly after the eclipse, for traffic. Be prepared for large crowds. Be self-sufficient. Make sure your car is filled up with gasoline. Bring food in the car. And if at all possible, get to the path where it's total early and leave late. And yeah, Jonesboro is in the path. It'll see a total eclipse of about 2.5 minutes, and that's pretty good. But if you go deeper into the path, it's longer. If you go all the way to Cape Girardeau, I think it's about 4 minutes there.
Wow, okay. What else can we tell our viewers? We have thousands of people who watch us each and every morning here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk.
Well, you have to understand just how rare this is. Any given point on Earth sees a total eclipse about once every 400 years. There will not be a total eclipse going over my house in Boulder, Colorado until the year 2772. So you may have the sense that they're not that rare because one went over Tennessee just 7 years ago, and now one's going to go over your part of the country again. But there won't be another one in the contiguous 48 United States for another 20 years. This really is a very rare event. And so I know it sounds like a 98% partial eclipse, like you will get in Memphis, is almost as good as a total eclipse. And it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but it's not. It's a fundamentally different experience. Imagine you've got tickets to go see Taylor Swift. You get in your car and you drive 98% of the way there, and then you stop and you come home. That's the same thing. You will have missed the show, the really fun show, if you stay in Memphis. So I know people have jobs and kids in school. We all have obligations. This is such a rare and spectacular event. If at all possible, take the day off, take the kids out of school, make this an event, because it's something you're going to remember for the rest of your life.
I love it. Okay. Final question. Jonesboro, Cape Girardeau, approximately what time will it be a total eclipse? Any idea?
Yeah, about 2 in the afternoon. So
Okay.
even if you're in the path of the partial eclipse, in the path of the total eclipse, it begins as a partial eclipse. And the partial eclipse will begin a little after 12:30 in the afternoon, and you'll very slowly see the moon cover the sun. And again, you must use the eclipse glasses when it's a partial eclipse. And then right around 2 p.m., that's when the moon covers the sun entirely. Daylight suddenly goes away. You're plunged into twilight. And for all of as much as 4 minutes, you can experience being in outer space, in essence, looking at a sky you've never seen. And I would encourage people to really go see it.
All right, David Barrett, we appreciate you. Thanks so much for coming on the Digital Desk and bringing it, selling it for us. Thanks so much for your time, David. Appreciate it.
Well, I hope you have clear skies on April 8th. Thanks.
Me too. I'm with you. I'm ready for it. So thanks very much.